The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation or Stewart Title. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
And welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick. That's right, another radio adventure. And today we're going to focus on one area of Houston, perhaps one of the most unique places and areas in the world, really. It is the Bay Area of Houston. There's so many things going on there. And think about this, as far as economic drivers, aerospace, specialty chemical, maritime, healthcare, tourism, so many great things going on there. So whether you're listening in the Bay Area or you could be in California, Houston, Texas, it doesn't matter. We think you're going to enjoy the show, and we're going to take a new look at this wonderful area. We're going to talk to realtors. But think about this space program. This makes not just the Bay Area unique to the world, but also to Houston. As we live, those of us that live in Houston, we benefit so much from the things going on. And think about NASA. First of all, two websites I would refer you to. One is bayareahouston.com. That is bayareahouston.com. Go to that website if you want to know all the things going on in the Bay Area. Absolutely incredible. And then go to nasa.gov, nasa.gov. Now check this out. They have a video there that tells the public what's going on, what their to-do list is for 2018, and just a few things from that to-do list. You could check it out again at nasa.gov. They're trying to send a robot to Mars. That's right. That's part of the to-do list for 2018. They want to visit an asteroid as old as our solar system. That's another thing. Searching for planets around distant stars. Also, efforts are taking place to get closer to the sun than ever before. Continuing to send humans to the moon and beyond. And oh yeah, this is the 18th year for people to be on the International Space Station. That is incredible. By the way, the space station travels at a speed of 17,500 miles per hour. It has had over 102,000 orbits. It orbits 15.54 orbits per day. That's going on right now, and 6 people are living in the International Space Station. Incredible. All that has to do with the Houston area, the Bay Area. So it's going to be interesting to see and hear as to what is going on real estate-wise. They're also working on flying an efficient and eco-friendly electric airplane. It's the X-57, the first flight. So many great things. And oh, yeah. In 2018, NASA is celebrating its 60th birthday. So we have a lot of unique things going on in Houston and the Bay Area. And first, we're going to talk to a realtor right there in the Bay Area. Her name is Tanya Langner. She is with Bio Properties Realty. Tanya, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Bill, for having me.
So many things are going on in that area. And we focused a little bit right there talking about the things going on with the space initiatives. However,
Yes.
all those other economic drivers are incredible. First of all, let's tell people about your company.
Bio Properties Realty is a small boutique in Clear Lake. They've been around for decades. My broker specializes in commercial investment. We also do residential and property management.
And when we think about these key drivers, and certainly the space program, specialty chemical, maritime, all those things, that affects real estate in a very important way, right?
It does, but the good thing about it is it's very stable. Like a lot of times we'll get, scared what's going to happen to real estate if there's supposed to be large layoffs with NASA. What is the government going to do? But because there's so much infrastructure and so many supporting companies, it's ended up being very stable over the long run.
And that makes it fun for you, too, as far as the buying and selling, helping people buy and sell properties all the time.
Absolutely. And I know after Harvey, usually there's about a 2 or 3 year gap between when the prices really recover. Well, we're already seeing in Clear Lake that as long as the home is repaired well, they're getting the pre-Harvey asking prices. So
I've heard that before. That's very interesting. And they say that's for homes that have flooded only once.
Exactly.
Now, if you have a home that's flooded 2-3 times, then you're talking about different values altogether.
Absolutely, because after it floods 3 times, you might get put in the high-risk pool for FEMA.
The high-risk pool, no pun there. No,
Yeah.
there you
Well,
go.
overall,
The
right?
pool,
It's very
we don't
high
wanna
risk.
we don't
Yeah.
want to be in that pool. The
No.
water's not good.
No.
So let's tell people also, you told me before the show, you are from what state?
I'm from Minnesota.
Let's say that one more time.
Minnesota.
I love that. And Minnesota is really, I've been there. I used to go there on a regular basis many years ago. I enjoyed Minnesota. Friendly people. Now, I think it was about 7 degrees the last time I was there. It was very cold.
Oh, very cold. I brought my husband, who was born in the South, and I made the mistake of bringing him in the winter, and the high was 0 the whole time. And he goes, "We will never live here, and if you want to, you might as well divorce me now, because
Okay,
it's not
there's the
happening."
big, beautiful Minnesota accent right there, the way you said that. I love
Yeah.
that. But it also is I wonder, do you ever you have friends and relatives back there?
Oh, yes. My whole family. Everyone's still there.
Give us an idea. And what city in Minnesota, by the way?
Well, most of my family lives 2 hours west of Minneapolis, and it's a lake community. So I grew up on the lake and on a snowmobile and everything else you picture in Minnesota. And then in my later years, I lived in uptown Minneapolis
And
during
that
college.
lake is frozen certain times of the year, I bet.
Very frozen. I grew up ice fishing with my father for hours,
love
and you
that.
bring your truck on, and it just makes the loudest crack. And every time you're convinced you're going to sink.
Unbelievable. Well, and what I was getting at too initially is that with Minnesota, when you talk to your friends and they're west of the Twin Cities, what's the real estate like up there? What's the economy like, by the way?
The economy is really strong. It's pretty much the complete opposite of Texas as far as taxes and how they're structured. They do spend a lot more on education. Sometimes Minnesota taxpayers actually get a refund on their
Whoa.
income taxes.
I
Yeah.
like that. And also, by the way, people can hear this show on the internet in Minnesota, so be sure to tell your friends and family. And by the way, the weather is going to be incredible there in the summer in Minnesota is beautiful.
It does eventually. Yes, it warms up.
Meanwhile, back in the Bay Area, but tell people, when you tell your friends in Minnesota about what's going on in the Clear Lake Bay Area and all that, and for those that are listening outside of the Houston area right now, how would you paint a picture of what it looks like and what life is like there in Bay Area, Houston?
Well, I think for people outside of the Houston area, I think there's a lot of misperceptions of the area. It's very family friendly. The schools are amazing. When you have to think about all the kids that support NASA are also going to these schools. We have a lot of walking trails. The biggest thing that we just opened up was Exploration Green, and that's in Clear Lake on Reseda Drive. And for people who don't know, they wanted to make it back into a golf course, and that became a lawsuit for years. And the Clear Lake Water Authority won the lawsuit, and they actually built huge retention ponds and trails and everything for huge green space. And that's actually largely credited for saving a lot of the Clear Lake homes for Harvey.
And right now, the marketplace, what's your perspective as far as activity? What's it like right now, Tanya?
It's still a very strong seller's market. And if you are looking for a home under $200,000, it's pretty much, there's a
better be
traffic
ready.
jam. Yes.
Traffic jam.
I mean, we just looked at a home priced at $155,000, and in one day there were 46 showings and 26 offers. So
Let's
it's very,
say that again. Those are
Yes.
some big numbers. Now it's you said the home was priced at what, one?
So if you're under 200,000, specifically around no more than 175, if you take basically anywhere, almost from Pearland to Pasadena, you're going to every house that comes up on the market, because that's how low the inventory is right now.
So then if you're the seller, you better, and you're in that price range, you
Yes.
better be ready to go, because the offers are going to be there for you. So you better know where you're going to live and be ready to move.
Absolutely. In that house that had so many offers, it's because they did all the small things.
Let's tell them what they did.
You know, they repainted the baseboards. They made sure it was maintained. They cleaned their gutters, fresh paint where it was needed. You know, a lot of people will look past whether or not it's outdated, but what people really want are a house that's, been loved and maintained well, and they know down the road they can slowly make the improvements that they need to.
They need a clean house, curb
Absolutely.
appeal, decluttered, all those things. And sometimes, and you run into this, I would think that people don't think about all those things, or maybe they think about it, but they're maybe too lazy to do it.
Well, when you have a good realtor, like when I come in and I'm going to sell someone's house, I bring in a stager. Sometimes it takes 2 days. A lot of people have so much stuff that you can't even see what the home actually looks like. And that's kind of hard to tell sellers. You're selling your house now. All of your stuff is gorgeous, but you need your home features to be the thing that stands out. And it is the small things. And I joke about this, but I can almost predict how inspection's going to go by what the floorboards look like in a home.
The floorboards, that's an interesting indicator of a home.
Mm-hmm.
So if things look beat up in a home, that's just not good anyway. So the home has to be brought into the best condition that it can be in. When someone walks in, you don't know if they're going to look at floorboards or what their certain thing is that they look for, but people are looking and they're soaking it in, and if they don't like it, they leave and go down the road.
Absolutely.
Now, as far as buyers, how do you coach the buyers in your area right now for real estate to prepare for, say, this real estate adventure? What are you telling them? If I want to buy a home in your area and I say, Tanya, I have $300,000, 3 to 5, let's say, and I want to buy a home, and I give you some other particulars, how do you coach me to get ready to go out and buy a home?
For the most part, it's, do you have children? Do you know which schools you want to go?
I have 2 dogs, but
you have,
they're
right?
children, yeah. They think they are.
The size, but for a lot of people, like with families, fortunately, they kind of know the area because they've already chosen it by schools. That really is what drives a lot of buyers. But also
point.
1 story or 2. So you start with the basics, and then once you go out there, usually they'll quickly narrow it down. Or do like outdoor space, for instance. Like if you go to neighborhoods like Brook Forest, Clear Lake, Pine Brook, there's a lot of walking trails. Or do you want a new build? Because if you're getting a new build, you're not going to have trees. So it's really, what are the things that you enjoy the most? Because that'll quickly narrow which home you choose.
And that's interesting. The psychology of the buyer, there's so many things that the buyer weighs out as far as if you're going to get new construction, and that's great. I think next home for me, I want a new home because I don't want to have to keep refurbishing everything. However, there's the trade-off. Most new homes don't come with the grown-in trees and all the greenery. So we're always weighing things out. I don't know if you have a number for this, but let's say the buyer's out there, and how many homes, because they're doing a lot of research, like you said, on the internet. They also know the neighborhoods and things like that. But how many homes does it take for them to look at before they say, Tanya, this is the one we want to put the offer on? Is there a number that comes to your mind? I know it's different every time, but.
Well, and a lot of it's the price point. For right now, because of the shortage, you're going to all of them. But you really want to do it in less than 10 showings. Once you start getting to 20 or 30, you really have to okay, we're sitting down because
let's reevaluate.
We
let's
have to
recalibrate.
reevaluate, right? Either you're going to spend more money, which no one ever wants to do, and you don't want them to, So what are you willing to give up? Possibly the neighborhood. Maybe it's just outdated, and you just have to,
Interesting. And Tanya, say with the last 20 seconds or so, what else would you like people to know?
Well, I don't know.
To call you,
I'm the
right?
worst. Oh, please call me. Yes, that's a good idea. It's 832-915-8401. And also on HAR, it's har.com/Tanya L. I do have all 5-star reviews. I did get awarded the 5-star professional last year.
Congratulations.
And yes, the reason why I get most of my work is because I answer my phone.
Listen, it's so simple, but you're exactly right. A lot of people, they do not answer phones anymore. I don't care if they're realtors or anything else. I like to get on the phone and talk to people every now and then. So they can talk to you at 832-915-8401, 832-915-8401. And please tell your friends and family in Minnesota that I said hello, and I hope they listen.
I will. Thank you so much.
We're going to come right back with more Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Nampick. I'm not from Minnesota, but I am from up north. Tell you more about that 2 shows from now.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We're looking at the Bay Area today through the eyes of several realtors, and we're going to have other things on the show. And now we have Faron Daigle, also from the Bay Area. He is with Simeon Properties. Faron, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Bill. Glad to be here.
And it's super awesome. You let's tell people, first of all, about your company, Simeon Properties.
We're a small independent brokerage located right in the heart of the Clear Lake area. Jimmy's been a broker approximately 10 years. I've been there about 3 years. And we specialize on trying to bring the highest level of customer service that we can to the client.
And you're right in the heart. So you have a pulse on the action. You know what's going on, right?
Got a great view of the Gulf Freeway and Baybrook Mall right from the office window.
And who could want more than that? Let's tell people, certainly you help people, buyers and sellers alike, with residential property. Let's talk a little bit about your perspective on the market in the residential, and then let's turn that towards commercial, because I know you do that as well.
I think this is one of the most incredible markets that we've seen in a long time. I've been in the business 19 years. The residential side has exploded with growth. We're very limited on inventory in certain price segments of the market, and there's so many different economic drivers in our area, our side of the city, that's just driving buyers to our market. It's an incredible time right now.
They're right. And when we started the show, there are so many drivers, and tourism is even one of them as well. So a lot of things going on. It's one of the most unique places, I think, on the planet.
It absolutely is. We're just kind of at the doorstep to Galveston. The cruise industry brings a lot of tourist trade into our area. We're seeing the VRBO side of the market really come to life with folks who are in our area for a short time. So that's kind of a new field for a lot of people.
Now, let's tell people, VRBO, what is that?
Vacation rental by owner, which allows people to come in and rent a place for various time frames, from as little as a few days to sometimes a few weeks or maybe even months. So we've got a couple of things that drive that. Obviously, the cruise industry in Galveston, the attraction of the Space Center and Space Center Houston, and our proximity to Galveston Bay and all the recreational things that and Clear Lake offers.
And I would think from the vacation side of things, people are saying, I want to be near the water. I'm just guessing.
Everybody likes being near the water.
I want to be on the water.
Absolutely. The water is a huge attraction, not only for recreational, but also as a lifestyle. A lot of people want to live on the water, and we've got varied types of water, everything from canal frontage to lake frontage to bay frontage. So there's quite a, for lack of a better term, a smorgasbord of what people may want to choose from.
And I would think that hand in hand with that, there are porches involved, people having their coffee in the morning on the porch, the wine at night. Sounds like fun.
It is fun, definitely. Coffee in the morning, wine in the evening on the water is kind of hard to beat.
It really is. So also, talking a little bit now about the commercial side of things. Commercial and residential go hand in hand. I guess one thing drives the other. Give us a perspective on the commercial and the things you're doing in the commercial world.
That's a really good way to look at it, Bill. The commercial world depends on the residential side. Especially the retail sector, if we don't have the rooftops in an area, you're not going to attract that type of commercial. What's unique about our area, just a little bit to the north of Clear Lake proper, is our proximity to the Port of Houston facilities. We have Bayport and we have Barber's Cut. With the expansion of the Panama Canal, we're seeing just unbelievable growth in distribution and storage facilities all along Red Bluff Road, Berea Boulevard to the north. It's also made it very convenient for a lot of the chemical industries in our area to have easy access to import and export. So it's brought jobs in that sector. And obviously, when those jobs become available, we have the need for rooftops. So we're seeing a lot of growth on the residential side as well.
Once again, so many things drive that area, and things that are not just in the area, but things that are in outer space and in the Panama Canal. It is fascinating when you really analyze it in that way. Let's tell people also from the commercial side of things and residential. The first thing I think when we think about a sale in real estate, whether it's, let's say it's a residential home, but when we think about a sale of, say, a shopping center or something else that's, quote, commercial, the sales cycle is longer. Is that correct?
That's normally correct, yes. The closing cycle is definitely longer because you got a lot of other factors that come, environmental studies, sometimes just feasibility studies, especially if it's a building or a business that's being established in the area. It's going to take some time to determine that it is actually an attractive and right location for whatever their long-range plans are.
The other thing that comes to mind from the residential, you may have a husband and wife making the decision on a property, and when you have another entity making a decision on a commercial property, and I don't know what's easier.
I don't
It
know
depends.
that either one's easier. They all have.
There's always a
different-
consensus.
Absolutely. And the commercial side often is made as or by a corporate entity that, there's a committee or there's a group or there is an individual person that is in charge of site location for that commercial entity. Again, going back to the residential, sometimes it's a family situation and you've got more than one person making that decision.
And it would seem to me, as a real estate professional, it sounds like you have kind of the best of both worlds where you're in both aspects, both categories of real estate.
We've got it very good in our area. I've been very fortunate into getting into some of the commercial side, which often translates into the residential side because most of these companies that are coming into the area, they're bringing personnel in. A lot of them are hiring local, but particularly management staff, they're bringing people in to get the business established. So it translates into not only finding them the right commercial location, but finding them the right place to live.
And I bet the conversation may go like this, where they say, well, Faron, can you help us find a home? Have you ever heard that?
A time or two, absolutely.
And that's what you're going for. That's fascinating. And Faron, of all the things you could be doing, what is it about real estate that where you got entrenched and you really love real estate? What is it about it?
I got into the business, Bill, with no intent of practicing. I wanted to do it just from the investor aspect, and I was fortunate to get a referral within the first 30 days I was in the business and closed that deal with Rhonda Trail over at Stewart Title way back in 1998, and I got hooked. And, there's nothing to me more rewarding than helping someone get from one point to the other and helping them achieve what they're looking for, whether it's the right school district for their kids, it's the right proximity to their job. It's pretty rewarding business to be in.
And there's so many things in the real estate transaction for the buyer. And I'm thinking about this for everybody involved. Let's say you're the buyer, you're looking at all these considerations, again, with a home or even thinking about a shopping center or some of these other things. There's so many things that go into it. And then you, as the real estate professional helping people, you have to be so many things and really have a knowledge about all sorts of things in that area.
You really do. I think it's with technology, it's a little bit easier to specialize than it's ever been, but you still have to have an ear to the ground for your local market and your local area. It's, the old adage, you have to know what you're selling, because I truly think a smart buy on the part of a buyer is thinking of a future sell. And if you guide them wrong, you make your money when you're buying, not when you're selling. Fortunately, our area affords us the ability to help our clients find the right property pretty easily.
And we are a few weeks away from the halfway point of the year. What is your speculation on how things are going to wind up as we get to the end of 2018, Faron?
All the trends in the market right now, as you know, we've got thousands of people a week and a month moving into the Houston area, so I don't foresee a slowdown
and they're
anytime
all
soon.
on 45 and I-10 and
That's
the 610
very
loop.
true. Very true. I see a healthy market. I see interest rates continuing to move up a little bit. I think our biggest issue right now is in certain price segments of the market, Bill, we're struggling to have inventory to sell.
Very interesting. Also, Faron, let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
You can find me on the web at farondaigle.com. You can call me at 713-922-9754.
So easy, 713-922-9754. Thank you, Faron, for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Faron Daigle, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stay with us.
Thank you, Bill.
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
And welcome back, Real Estate Matters with Stewart. Title changing gears just a little bit. Show Homes Home Staging. We have the owner. His name is Pratt Barndollar. Pratt, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
And you were here. Also, your wife is here. She said that she was encouraging you on, so we're so glad to have her as well.
Oh yeah, she's the power behind the throne.
That's right. Well, Pratt, let's tell people, first of all, we hear about home staging, how important it is all the time to be in the staging profession. Let's tell people about your company.
Okay, well, Show Homes, of course, the goal of all our services is to get sellers the best offer and a quick sale, quick offer. And we do that by offering a number of services, anywhere from just a 2-hour consultation, talk about some of the things that Tanya was speaking about earlier to advise the homeowner or the seller on what needs to be done to get their home updated, potentially how they can reposition their furniture, because, of course, in any home you want to show off the features and the functionality and the spaciousness. And your point at that time was very appropriate, that it's all about the home. You're selling the home, not the furnishings. So frequently realtors bring us in to advise, to be the bad guy, to advise the client, you know, these need to be put away, you need to declutter. And then, of course, we provide those services. We can redesign a home using the seller's furnishings and decor. We also provide some updating services if it's small, like flooring or paint. We do traditional home staging with our own inventory of on-trend exclusive furniture, focused mostly on luxury and executive homes, because those are the homes that you almost always need to stage, whereas homes in a hot market, if the home is going to sell in 2 months anyway, near the list price, maybe vacant staging is not indicated for those homes. But in a slower market, you definitely want to do
And what's
it.
interesting, I've seen a home I'm very familiar with, and this home, they refurbished it after the flood. They put incredible touches on the home, redid the bathrooms, the floors. It looked incredible. It was on the market for, I think, about 90 days. It went off the market. It just came back on the market staged. And let me tell you, even though it looked incredible without any furniture, the stuff they put in there, I'm going to tell you, I bet it sells in just a few weeks. The staging is just right, and the psychology that goes into that, it's fascinating, because there isn't anything we buy in life that hasn't been prepared and presented in a way, whether you walk into Costco and it looks good on a pallet, or whether you walk into Tiffany's, it has to be presented properly.
Right, absolutely. And in fact, many of our success stories talk about exactly that. You know, home was on the market for 9 months with no offers. Staged it, had 2 offers in 2 weeks. You know, that it's just incredible.
You hear it all the time.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. And also, too, we work with a lot of new construction homes, and those guys, especially over,
they have to rely on you.
Yeah, over $1 million. The home's usually not going to sell right away. It's going to be on the market for a number of months, but we can reduce that number of months significantly, and that reduces their carrying costs as well. But what you're saying about buyers can't walk into a home, an empty room is going to either feel too large or too small, but having some furniture in there to give them some scale and positioning, and also to focus their attention on the specific features of the home. It's more than just putting a couch and a coffee table in there. There's a lot of specific design that goes into it, and that's Shelley's role.
And Shelley is Pratt's wife. And the thing that's incredible, too, is the balance that has to happen. We talk about the home that is cluttered, then you have to declutter it. You have to have the right balance of things. Simply put, staging works. Great staging, that is,
yes.
Professional staging. It works. And you're going for the idea. I guess the best thing is you can put your furniture in there, you can stage the home, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, Pratt, we sold it. Take it out, right?
Oh, that happens all the time. I mean, we
so that couch gets some miles on it. It's doing a lot of moving around.
That's when we have to turn over furniture, it's not so much because it's going out of style. It's because it gets beat up over, it'll get moved 6 or 7 times sometimes.
That's fascinating. Now, as the home stager, as the company, how do you keep stock of all? How do you have all this stuff in stock? I mean, that's got to be a challenge when you go out there to buy the right couches and accessories. How do you do that, Pratt?
I'm going to speak for Shelley a little bit because she's our main buyer here, but it's important to select pieces that are on trend, but not in your face on trend, because you want to have kind of a I wouldn't say neutral backdrop, but we're trying to sell the house, not the furniture. So we want the furniture to be like the garnish on the plate, right? It just pops everything, makes it look great. We bring in color with our art and our rugs and our soft goods to help pop particular points. But a lot of it is, creating a nice even balance that people can walk into the house, they feel comfortable. The space invites them to sit down and talk with the realtor about a contract, spend some time in the house.
Imagine themselves being in the home.
And so working on, we work on the lighting, we work on the way the blinds should be placed when the house is shown. We want to get every new reveal point has to be a pop, that as from the time they walk up or pull up to the front of the house, as they walk through the front door, and then every, as you go through a house, there's always a few spots where you just stop and say, wow, and that's got a really
And it's called staging for a reason, because as in the theater in a movie, every frame, it looks the way that they want it to look to tell that particular story. And with the house, you want to tell a story so the people say, hey, I can live in this house. I want to buy it. Also, Pratt, you have something unique as far as you call it a management.
Our home manager service. And
let's tell people about that.
Yeah, so this is, for those that don't know, Show Homes is a nationwide franchise. We've got 40 franchises across the country, from Florida, New York, Philadelphia, San Diego, Portland, New York, and Houston. We also have, there's a colleague named Laura Landisman, operates out of the Woodlands. And what we do is we will actually recruit and place a home manager into the home. And there's a number of benefits to the seller for that. First of all, we usually recommend it for homes that are going to may have some little kick against them that make you suspect they're going to be on the market longer than normal. And it's not always the home's fault. Sometimes it's location or something that's going on in the neighborhood. But particularly, it can benefit the seller in that, first of all, they're going to save on the staging because they're not paying the rental on the furniture that we put in there. The home manager pays that. Also, the home stays staged until it sells, but they get our same staging with our furnishings. And we recruit our home managers from people. Our real trigger, we look for people who could afford to own the home themselves, but need some transitional living for whatever reason. Right now, some of our home managers are people, they built a home, it sold quickly, and now they're in transition while they're building the next home. So they need a place to live. Or you get people from the medical center. The Marshal Service brings people into town that need a place to live for 6 to 9 months. They don't want to sell. They don't want to sign a lease. They don't want to buy a home. New people moving to the area may want to get to know the area before they buy.
A lot of scenarios, and we call that live-in home manager services, right?
And they contract, the home managers go through financial and security background checks, and they are contracted to us to keep the home show ready. So they have a checklist of items they have to go through. They have to vacate for every showing, and open house or whatever the realtors are doing, and we work closely with our realtors to coordinate that.
Very nice. And also we want to tip the hat to Anne-Marie Carson, who told us about you, that you were available to be on the show. So Anne-Marie's doing an incredible job for you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Anne-Marie joined us last year, and she's just been great, taking charge and getting us out there.
There you go. Well, Pratt, let's tell people how they can reach out to you if they would like any of your services.
Okay, well, the easiest way is showhomeshouston.com, all one word, just showhomeshouston.com. I don't have Anne-Marie's number in front of me, but our main office line is 832-289-7513.
Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, Pratt Barndollar at 832-289-7513. Thank you, Pratt, for being on the show.
All right, thank you.
And we're coming right back with even more. Stay with us. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
And welcome back, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Continuing our look at the Bay Area with another realtor. His name is Richard Parr with Coldwell Banker United Realtors. Richard, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. Thanks for having me.
It's super awesome to see you here, and thank you for making the drive. Let's tell people about your company right there in the Bay Area.
Yes, I'm with Coldwell Banker United Realtors. We've been in the Bay Area for a long time, and we have 16 offices total in Houston.
And that's a lot, covering the marketplace in an incredible way.
Absolutely. You know, Coldwell Banker covers the whole city, and trust me, I'm all over the place all the time, and just in Clear Lake alone. So.
And give people an idea as we think about different perspectives, Richard. How is the marketplace from your perspective, and do you work with buyers more or sellers more, or is it an even balance?
The market's very, very good right now. Our market is absolutely amazing, and especially in certain price points. But I work about 50-50 with buyers and with sellers. Last year when I closed 67 transactions, it was about 34 and 33. So almost right down the middle.
Even Steven there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's fun. And let's tell people, as far as real estate goes, like everybody else, you can be doing a million other things. What is it that drew you to the real estate profession to begin with?
What brought me to the profession's funny because my mom has been in the business for about 40 years, and she, about 11, 12 years ago, decided, do you want to get in the business with me? And I said, I wasn't sure, I'll be honest. But she brought me into the business about 11 years ago.
And so far, you're enjoying it, right?
Absolutely.
No doubt. And as far, we talked earlier in the show about all these drivers and all the things the diversity of things that are going on in the Bay Area. And that always affects real estate. What are some of the things that you're seeing in addition to what we've talked about so far as to what makes that market so vibrant?
The market is so vibrant just because there's so many different lifestyles. You can live the fabulous outdoor lifestyle. You can be a workaholic and drive into town and not be far from town. And there's just so many different things and activities to do in the area that just make it so wonderful. And all different types of people live in the area.
When we think about the buyer on the buyer side, and the buyer certainly will, well, in this case, if someone came to you and said, I want a home on the water, okay, and we know that on the water could mean the canal, it could mean the bay, there's different configurations. If so, what is the starting price point, let's say, if we wanted a home or maybe even a condo on the water? Could I have something on the water to have that cup of coffee for $300,000?
To have something on the water at that price point, it would have to be probably a condo. It's going to be very hard to find a single-family home in that price point.
All right, let's say we want to up it. We were getting a little bit more money, and we want the single-family home on the water where we could look out at a view. Then what price are we at there?
Oh, goodness. We're probably going to be looking at, it depends on what type of home you want. You know, you're going to be looking easily in the $400 to $500 range.
So we can easily say then, let's say 500. Now, let's say we pull out $800,000. How does that open up our choices?
That opens up your choices.
We're feeling good now. And as the realtor, you're like, I have a few things to show you, right?
Oh, no. There's once you open up your price point to that, there's going to be a lot of options on the water for you. There's going to be everything from, as people mentioned before, from bay views to canal views. You've got home views that are in planned subdivisions to stuff that sits in Kima right out on the water. So,
and as I'm thinking about the bay view and the canal view, and I don't know if there's another category, but which one brings in more dollars? Or are they the same?
Most people are going to want a view of the direct bay. Most people are going to want the view of the bay.
So that has the premium there.
Absolutely.
And then, so you're thinking about, would it be safe to say that if you have that bay view, that it's a bigger home or not?
Usually so. And you're going to also find that homes on the water, because they're not making any more land, homes on the water sometimes are going to be occupying a smaller lot size, and your houses are going to be a little tighter, but it's going to be a lot of square footage. It's going to be in a tighter space.
But you're out there on the porch with the coffee in the morning or in the evening with the wine, and don't get the two confused. Something like that, right? So a lot of choices are there for any individual. And like everything else in life, the more money you have, the more choices.
That's very true.
I love that. So, okay, let's tell people, and let's say you're a seller. You have the Bay Area home, and maybe it's a $900,000 or $800,000 home. I'm a seller. I have that Bay Area looking at the view. If I want to sell that home, even at the higher price point, how quick will that one sell, you think?
The big thing about homes that are on the water and the upper end price point is people do need to have their patience. Okay. I always say pack your patience a little bit, because your pool of buyers is going to be a little smaller for looking at that type of home. So your days on the market might be a little bit longer. It just takes one. I tell everybody that, every seller that, it just takes that one buyer to walk in and fall in love with your home. But if you have a nice $800,000 or $900,000 home that's got a water view, just know it can take a little bit longer just because of the upper end price point.
And I would also think, now that I'm visualizing where you're at, if you go further south, yes, you have Galveston. To me, if I wanted a waterfront home of any sort, I think I'd rather be in the Bay Area because I'm closer to Houston and closer to perhaps employment opportunities. Would you say?
Absolutely. And people look at the whole ball of wax, so to speak. They're going to look at school district. They're going to look at ratings for schools. They're going to look at distance to employers and things like that. And Galveston, while it is only a short 30-minute drive, well, not anymore, but from Clear Lake.
There's no short drives anywhere. I don't care, Galveston or anywhere else.
But no, the Bay Area definitely is where a lot of people would look, for sure.
That sounds fascinating. And when we think about the idea of people coming in from other states, other cities, and maybe even other parts of town, maybe there's people that may live in the center of Houston or in uptown Houston, and they say, look, I'm tired of that. I want to go and look at the water. That happens all the time. But from, let's say, out of state, are you seeing people come to your company from other states to live in the area?
We do see people relocate from for personal reasons, employment reasons all the time. And you do see people come down to the Bay Area, and they always want to say, the most common phrase is, I want to be on the water. And then they find out we talk about the price tag and things like that. So
just work harder.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a little
make
more
money.
But no, that's very common. That's what a lot of people look for coming to that area, for sure.
It's interesting. We talk about the psychology of selling a home and the staging and all those things, but there's the psychology of having a great view. In many cases, people equate that with the water view, and there's something that's tranquil about that when we get to look at the water or any other nice scene. That helps us enjoy our home wherever it is.
Absolutely, for sure.
No doubt about it. Also, Richard, let's tell people how they can reach out to you, and what else would you like them to know about your company and services?
Well, I'm always here to provide you the service you deserve and experience you can trust, and you can reach me at 281-300-0175. That's the best place to find me. My phone is always on, sometimes too long.
Sometimes too long. It burns up. In fact, you probably answer your phone all the time as well.
I do.
And
it's
I like
on
that
almost
part.
all hours of the day.
I like that part about the 300, 281-300-0175. And a quick word on the speculation as we're nearing the halfway point of the year. How do you think things are going to play out between now and then?
I think the rest of the year is going to be good. I think the market is going to continue to be very successful, and it's been very good for the first part of the year, and I think it's going to continue to do well.
Very nice, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Parr, give him a call at 281-300-0175. Thank you, Richard. And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, your host, Bill Nampick. And we have had great guests on the show, and most of those guests were brought to us by Susan Bottom. She's a business development officer for Stewart Title. Oh, yeah, Stewart Title. Susan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill, for having me. I appreciate it.
And you're having a great time at Stewart Title, doing incredible work all the time.
Trying to keep these escrow officers busy and this office rolling. It's an amazing office. The longevity is the best.
And really, the Stewart Title office you're speaking at is right there off of 45. It's been a while since I've been there, but let's tell people the exit right there.
45 Bay Area. We're straight down Bay Area, just before the Clear Lake High School.
In fact, as was said earlier, that sounds like that's in the heart of the pulse of all the stuff going on.
It is. We're right in the heart of it.
And things are busy right there?
Very busy. I have a goal of 100 contract orders, and I've reached 89 this month.
Oh, I thought you were going to say this week. I was going to say that's incredible.
No, next month my goal is for the office to bring in 100 contracts.
That's incredible. You are
I'm getting
on
close.
Fire.
Very close.
Susan Bottoms. And who are the escrow officers there in our
Rhonda
location?
Trellis, the escrow officer and office manager. Kelly Schultz, the escrow officer. And Kelly Christensen, she is our newest escrow officer, and we're so pleased to have her.
Indeed. Well, Susan, let's tell people how they can reach out to you when they want to bring that real estate transaction right there to your wonderful office.
832-851-7935 or susan.bottoms or stewart.com.
There it is, 832-851-7935, Susan Bottoms, but always on the top in sales, right, Susan?
Amen. Yes,
there
sir.
you go. Thanks for being on the show, and thanks for bringing the great crew here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we are with Michelle Steffen, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Let's get an idea from the very basics of home insurance, some of the things that you think people should think about and how you engage in that conversation.
Absolutely. So really, when you're looking at a home insurance policy, there's two components. There's two sides of it. It's the structure and the personal property and how you recover on this side. And then on the other side, it's the liability component, medical payments, et cetera. So really, you have to break those into two and then dissect it, have that conversation, talk about what the customer is going to be responsible for versus what we're going to have the insurance company pay. And then personal liability and medical payments is how do you protect yourself from those situations that come up in life. It essentially is property damage and bodily injury to others. So when those events happen, how do you protect yourself from those issues?
And simply put, that's why people really should have a conversation with someone at your company where you can tailor this insurance properly, whether it's home or auto, but in this case, the home, because there are so many things to think about, and each policy is different.
Definitely. There's so many variables in insurance. One size doesn't always fit all. So it's important to have that conversation. Talk to somebody who is knowledgeable, who is can help give you that confidence when you're making coverage decisions, and ask questions so that you can, grow personally and develop your understanding of the coverage that you're buying. It's a two-way street. We've got to communicate. You've got to tell me what your risks are, and I'm going to investigate with you and help you discover those risks, and then we're going to find a solution for you. So as long as a customer is engaged and involved in the process with us, then we're going to be able to find something that will, number one, meet their needs and help protect them after a loss.
And, of course, you are looking at policies all the time and are very familiar where the average person may not be, because when we look at a policy, there are so many words there, there's so many contingencies, and it's actually difficult. So we really encourage people to reach out and talk with you. Let's tell them the phone number here, by the way.
Sure. It's 866-845-4676. Again, that's 866-845-4676.
Give us a word on some of the things that we should think about when thinking about deductibles.
So we already kind of touched on the fact that the insured or the customer, the homeowner, is taking on some responsibility, and then the insurance company takes on responsibility as well. The deductible is essentially their responsibility, what they're going to have to pay to recover. And if the insurance policy doesn't provide essential coverages, then there's a possibility the customer is going to pay above and beyond that deductible. Our job is to help discover those above and beyonds and find solutions for them, or at least educate somebody on what their out-of-pocket risks will be.
Also, let's tell people the website so they can see the full offering of what we have here at Stewart Insurance and Risk Management.
Sure. It's stewart.com, and you just search for the insurance tab.
In the policy, and we're not going to talk about flood right now, but other water situations that occur in the home, those are things that should be looked at, because other than a flood, water could come through walls, leaking pipes, hole in the roof. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So you've got, the rising water we've talked to at length. Then you have 4 additional water damage coverages, and most people don't know that those even exist. So you've got number 1, sudden and accidental. That's the burst pipe scenario. And then after that, you've got water backup of sewers and drains. So essentially, if the water backs up into the home through the water entry points, that's any water entry point in the home. The third is foundation water damage coverage. So if you have a covered water loss and they have to dig in and excavate into that foundation in order to access the plumbing, that would protect the homeowner in that event. to recover that foundation. And remember that the plumbing system itself is not covered. It's the damage that's caused from the water loss. So that's something the customer would be responsible for as a homeowner.
So many nuances. Once again, Michelle, we're making the case that you really should prepare and go over the policy with a professional like yourself. Let's tell them again how they can reach out.
Absolutely. 866-845-4676. One more time, 866-845-4676. And Bill, one last water damage. I almost missed it. Seepage and leakage coverage. Yeah, and that's the big one. That's the one that most companies don't pay for. Because it is something that's typically excluded, you don't just need to ask. You need to understand what the limitations are in your policy. So definitely make sure, again, those 4, seepage and leakage, sudden and accidental, water backup, and then foundation water damage.
Very nice. Michelle, Steffen, Stewart, Insurance and Risk Management. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Bill.
And as we're winding up the show, we brought everybody back. Indeed, she is back. Tanya Langner. She is with Bio Properties Realty. Tanya, welcome back.
Thank you very much. And I just want to clarify, it's okay if you can't pronounce my last name, because I can't either.
But I said it right. Langner, right?
You did a pretty good job.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not even sure. I think it's Langner.
You're not sure?
But
Okay.
anyway, 832-915-8401.
You're ready to help anybody that reaches out to you.
I am absolutely ready to help anybody.
You're ready to answer the phone. You do it all the time. You told me earlier.
Yes, I do. That's that's really what I'm known for, is I actually communicate with my clients.
That is
they're
awesome.
My priority.
And the number again, Tanya?
832-915-8401.
And for anybody listening in Minnesota, we want to say, hey, right?
Yep, come on to Houston.
No doubt about it. And Faron Daigle, he is also back with Simeon Properties. Faron, welcome back.
Thank you, Bill.
Faron, one last word. What else would you like people to know?
Well, come on down to our side of the city, near the bay and near the lake, because you're not necessarily just buying a house, you're buying into a lifestyle.
Indeed. And I bet if they buy a house from you, you're going to get them a pound of coffee to sit and enjoy that right there. Compliments of Faron Daigle.
Or the red wine, whichever they prefer.
There you go. Choices in life. And Faron, how can people reach out to you?
I'm at 713-922-9754. Almost 24 hours a day.
Almost. And he is back, Pratt Barndollar with Show Homes. Pratt, welcome back.
Thank you.
You know what I was thinking since you were gone? And that is that if they don't stage the home professionally, they're staging it, but they're staging it unprofessionally. Because if you leave it alone, that's still something that the people are going to look at. It better be right.
Well, exactly. And it's fun to look at pictures sometimes on the internet that people have out there where you just say, yikes.
Exactly. And they're not getting the top dollar, and it probably stays on the market
it's on the
too
market
long.
a long time.
Let's tell people how they can reach out to you for help.
Okay, well, we encourage you to go to our website at showhomes.com. We have lots of pictures and client reviews out there, and we'd love to hear from you.
Pratt Barndollar with his wife, Shelley, doing incredible work all the time. And now he is back, Richard Parr. Richard, one last word.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me back. And if anyone wants to reach me, you can always find me. 281-300-0175. I've always got that phone ready to answer.
This is the only show where everybody answers their phone all the time. That's why it's a milestone. 281. Give Richard Parr a call at 281-300-0175. Thank you, Richard, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And thank you all for being here. Thank you, Susan Bottoms, for assembling this fine cast as always. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Over 223 shows. That's right. We're here to serve all the time. These shows are a resource, and don't be sad that the show is ending at the time of broadcast, because it is ending, but it never ends at Stewart.com/Houston. That's right. Any time of the day. It's like the phones that people always answer. Any time of the day. Go to Stewart.com/Houston. They're all there. All the shows except the first one, because we can't find that one. In the meantime, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to close your next real estate transaction at any Stewart Title office. We are an international company. STC is the stock symbol. And until next week, we'll see you then.